Now, it's long been the dark side of sport, but in recent years, drug cheats are becoming all the more common. Irish sprinter Steven Colvert was banned back in 2014 for drug abuse allegations he's always denied. That ban cost him even a sniff at Rio 2016, and he's still trying to clear his name. Before we speak to Steven, let's take a quick look at his story.
Doping. A word that carries shame, disappointment and anger among so many athletes and sport fans. In June 2014, Irish sprinter Steven Colvert's name was added to the list of drug cheats. Until then, Colvert was an up-and-coming talent. He was the Irish 200-metre champion in 2012 and missed out on London 2012 by just 0.2 of a second. But in June 2014, he was told he'd be banned for 2 years after testing positive for synthetic EPO. The drug helps increase the number of red blood cells in the body, which in turn increases oxygen levels, improving endurance and recovery. But Colvert has always denied the allegations. Now, the 26-year-old lawyer has brought in a team of Norwegian scientists to help argue his case. They point to what they see as weaknesses and inaccuracies in Colvert's testing, saying that scientific results are not always clear-cut and do not always permit reliable interpretations. They went on to say that they fear that Colvert's sentence for drug abuse might have been unjustified. At last year's appeal, the Irish Sport Council stuck to its support for the World Anti-Doping Agency lab results and the scientists behind them. They said that the WADA scientists fit into a small group of people who are absolutely expert in this area, even going on to say that the working group literally writes the book. In a sporting world where drug cheats are becoming all too common, Colvert's team are hoping to prove that labs may also be failing tests, and that injustices do exist.
Okay, let's get the latest from Steven Colvert, who's in Dublin for us now. Steven, we just had a brief background at your story. Just remind us of where you're at this present point in time. You're still not running, are you?
No, not really. At the moment, I'm currently just gotten back to training, so very, very small steps, nowhere near on the same scale as I was beforehand. It's, I suppose it's quite piecemeal because I have to try and work full time and, you know, make ends meet. So athletics is on the back burner for now.
Well, of course, you've lost some source of income as a runner, and you're having to front the cost of this. Just take us back to the day that you got that phone call to say that you'd been banned.
I suppose it was just an average day. I received a phone call. I was actually lying in bed and I received a phone call and I was notified that I had failed a drugs test. And to me, it seemed very strange. It didn't seem quite real. I thought it was a joke initially, but I was, you know, very quickly I learned that it was a very serious matter. It was devastating because your whole world just kind of crashes around you because athletics was something that I was so into at the time.
And now, I mean, let's talk about the financial cost of all of this, because of course we can go to previous runners who've cleared their name, and it's ended up costing them in the regions of $150,000 to do that. So you've recently said that your family is even feeling the strain of us. So for people on the outside looking in, just explain how hard it is to try and clear your name.
Well, I suppose from my point of view, there's no real supports. Once you get that notification, it's you very much on your own. Now, I know you mentioned Mr. Turnbull had run up a fee of 150,000. At this stage, I haven't gotten that close yet, but, you know, having to pay for specialists and get their opinions and pay for my own solicitors and barristers, it does run up very, very quickly. And, you know, it was a cost that I wasn't able to fund myself, and I really needed help from my family, and they really, you know, they all pulled together, and you know, they all pulled together, and so far they've helped me fund the case so far.
And so people watching this might think, well, look, your evidence is clear-cut. Everyone else is saying that your case should be dropped. You have all the legal documents, you have all the legal findings within that we just saw in the story before. So why aren't they listening to you?
I suppose that's not really. It's not something I can quite put my finger on. You'd have to speak to them directly. But I think it's a case of, as it was said in your report, that these guys have written the book, and it's very hard for people who are so specialised in their field to admit defeat, admit that, you know, maybe we did something wrong, maybe the book wasn't written to the highest standard, maybe there were errors. I think that's very much a part of it. I feel that, you know, in any other scenario, when there's new evidence that comes to the forefront that can vindicate someone, people are usually very, very quick to try and, you know, right the wrongs. But this case, it doesn't seem to be what's going on in this scenario.
Okay, Stephen, what next? I mean, clearly you're a calm guy and you seem to be taking it very well. What next? Could this potentially ruin your career?
Yeah, very much so. The athletics community is quite small. It has a huge fan base, but amongst athletes themselves, it's quite a small community. And you know, the good information doesn't travel as quick as the bad. You know, for any athlete, they need to have support. They need to have structures in place that will allow them to train to their best. At the moment, it's not really an option for me. I'm trying to get back part-time as much as I can, but even moving forward in the future, my name has been blackened for sponsors to try and associate themselves with myself and my progress. It's hugely damaging, which means income and getting by has to come from other means, such as work, which absolutely, you know, full-time work and full-time training just do not meet.
Okay, Stephen, thank you, and we're sure to catch you soon. All the best of luck in your fight there against that. Now,